Now, from Into Tomorrow, this is an ITTV special report.
The Game Agency specializes in producing video games and interactive entertainment. Their managing partner is Stephen Baer. Stephen, welcome Into Tomorrow. How are you?
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Glad that you have a chance to sit down for a couple of minutes and actually take a break, hopefully, and rest. Tell me about the Game Agency. What exactly do you do? I mean, my intro was kind of generic. How do you describe what the Game Agency is about?
You mean that wasn't a good enough introduction?
Well, probably not. You can probably describe it better.
So we do a lot of work with game publishers in particular. We do a lot of work with brands as well, but you think about any game publisher, they've spent years working on a game, and there's all sorts of tactics to bring that game to life and get people to actually purchase it.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we work on is doing games for games. It's creating mini games, doing social media games, doing mobile games, but all with the purpose of actually marketing the title that they've been working on.
Oh, cool. And of course, you mentioned social media. I want to jump on that because that's a big buzz here at GDC this year, more than we've heard ever before. We're talking about things, I guess, on Facebook and connecting via Twitter and MySpace. I think it's still around. They're trying to reinvent it, whatever. The point being is that social networking has played such an important role as well in gaming as it has in a lot of industry these days.
It sure has. I mean, if you think about some of the titles, not necessarily that are highlighted here, but you think some titles like Farmville, right?
Yeah.
That have 80 million people playing on a monthly basis and up to 30 million people playing on a daily basis. What games that you see at GDC are actually hitting those numbers? None.
None. That's true. So you can't ignore that kind of gaming.
No, not at all.
It's just become so popular with so many people, even though a lot of our audience, and fortunately some of my staff, have begun to bore of it. Which is interesting because people are saying, you know what, I'm not spending as much time. Or in the case of my staff, we travel so much, their crops die. You're on a 4-hour flight, there go your strawberries,
right,
or whatever
right.
the heck it is. So the point is, there's a lot of creativity, though, and it's a great way, I guess, to market and promote other things.
So I guess the really good things about social media is, yes, you have games like Farmville that require hours and hours of attention, but you also have games that require 5 minutes of attention. And think about the amount of attention spending 5 minutes with a brand or with an advertisement for a game instead of, let's say, 30 seconds on TV or 2 seconds in a print ad. So it's actually really cool. And not only are you spending time with it, but you think about the amount of people you're hitting based on your actions. So every time you do something, it gets posted. It gets pushed out to your friends. The average person on Facebook has 130 friends. So think about that. Of those 130 people, half of them are coming back on a daily basis. So every time you do something with your game, with your app, with your engagement, 60 people on average are seeing it.
Wow. So there is that, sort of reminds me of that old hair commercial, and so on, and so on, and
exactly.
So because it's doing just that, or kind of the Energizer Bunny of the gaming industry, it seems.
Exactly. So we've had the luck of being able to work with Intel and a number of publishers on some really cool programs. About almost a year ago, we started out with Intel and Atari working on Ghostbusters. We did a virtual ghost hunt. So
cool.
Really kind of cool stuff. And you think about it's obviously intellectual property that everyone loves, Ghostbusters. And we took it where you could go out and find ghosts. You could hunt them down. You could slime your friends with them. You could collect them. You all get points based on them. There's a leaderboard. Really neat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was one program. We worked with Capcom and Intel on a Resident Evil 5 program around Mijini Makeover, which was basically a photo editor. You can make yourself evil looking.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. Send it to friends. Win prizes, so on and so forth. And we're just launching this week with Ubisoft and Intel Assassin's Creed 2 game that's not on Facebook, but is going to be syndicated across thousands of casual gaming sites. And it's all about, it's a hidden object game, but it's all about diving in and seeing the different screenshots of the game and trying to find mini objects that are relevant to the title itself. So all fun stuff.
So occasionally, are you able to actually play parts of the game? I mean, you can kind of get into it for a few minutes or a level or two or something like that?
Well, so in this case, it's all about Subject 16, which is a part of the game, and you see different components of the art within the game, and you also see different regions within Italy that take place in the game. So yeah, it's a mini deep dive into the game.
You got Erasmo's attention being from Italy. He's like, oh, all of a sudden, I haven't seen his eyes light up all day. All of a sudden, you mentioned Italy. Hey, spaghetti. I love it. But the fact is, there's opportunities here to do something very different and yet have some fun. And if you're really into it, now you maybe want to buy the game or you want to get more into it. That's thus the marketing idea.
Exactly.
I see. Now I get a better picture of the game agency and what you guys are about. Of course, thegameagency.com. You can see all the cool stuff Stephen and his team are working on. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us here at GDC. Let's stay in touch. You're doing some fun things. So.
Thanks, Dave, for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Our pleasure. I'll bet he'll be the kind of guy that can get an Into Tomorrow game of some sort. Just something little that we can post and play, and everybody has a blast.
Give me a week.
Yeah. A week. Excellent. No pressure. A week, and we'll be announcing it on the show. Stay tuned. Speaking of the show, all 3 hours of Into Tomorrow available for you at intotomorrow.com. Yes, all 3 hours. Hopefully those of you lucky enough to stay around for next hour, our third hour from the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. Meantime, visit us at intotomorrow.com.